The microphone was still warm from the champion's own hand when he pointed it at the small man sitting in the third row and called him a joke. 8 seconds later, that same champion was on his knees, unable to speak, and the first words out of his mouth when his breath came back were, "I'm sorry." This is the story of the night Bruce Lee was mocked in front of a packed arena, and why the man who mocked him never told that joke again. Las Vegas, Nevada, the Showboat Sporting Club, April 1973. Friday night. The air inside the Showboat carries the specific weight of a city built entirely on confidence. Cigarette smoke curling toward chandeliers. Ice clinking in glasses. Nobody is drinking fast enough. The low electric hum of 400 people who have come to watch a man they already believe cannot lose. This is not a title fight. It is an exhibition night. A showcase bout arranged by promoters to keep a rising heavyweight in front of cameras between real contests. But in Vegas in 1973, an exhibition with the right name on the marquee draws a real crowd, and tonight's name is Marcus Iron Calloway. Calloway is 26 years old, 6'4", 220 pounds of professional heavyweight built across 11 years of gyms in Philadelphia and Detroit. 29 wins, 2 losses, 19 by knockout. Sparring partner to 2 former champions. A fighter the boxing writers in Vegas this week have already started describing with words like inevitable and a year out, maybe less, from a title shot. He hits the heavy bag the way other men hit alarm clocks, like it personally offended him by existing. His jab has put grown professionals on notice in sparring sessions that were never supposed to get that serious. Nobody doubts that Marcus Calloway can fight. The only question anyone in this building has ever asked about him is whether his mouth will get him in trouble before his fists run out of opponents worth beating. Tonight he has just finished 4 rounds against a journeyman flown in from Reno, dropped him twice, and is standing center ring in red trunks with his arms raised, soaking in an ovation he has decided he deserves before he has truly earned anything that matters. This is not unusual for Calloway. He has built a minor reputation outside the ring nearly as large as the one inside it. For trash talk, for big declarations to reporters, for treating every press conference like a stage built specifically for him. Most of it is harmless theater. Boxing rewards a big mouth as long as the fists eventually back it up, and so far, his always have. He takes the ring announcer's microphone before anyone can stop him. This isn't unusual. Calloway likes microphones the way some men like mirrors. Y'all want to see something real tonight. His voice booms through the speakers, bouncing off low ceilings built for boxing, not music. I keep hearing about this kung fu business. Bruce Lee. Everybody's talking about the movies, the kicks, the yelling. He does a mocking impression, a high-pitched cry, hands chopping the air, and the crowd laughs, because crowds laugh when a winner invites them to. That's dancing, ladies and gentlemen. That's choreography. You want to see a real fight? Get in a real ring with a real fighter. Bet you folding money he wouldn't last 1 round with a man who actually hits people for a living. Nobody in the crowd expects an answer. Nobody expects the man being mocked to be sitting 11 rows back in a charcoal sport coat, having come only as a guest of the promoter, with no plans to be anything but a spectator tonight. Bruce Lee does not raise his voice. He does not stand up immediately. He sits for a moment, completely still, the particular stillness of a man deciding something rather than reacting to something. Then he stands, and because the lighting rig above the ring throws a wash of brightness into the first 15 rows, several people nearby recognize him at the same instant, and the recognition moves through the crowd like a current finding ground. "I heard you," Bruce says. His voice does not need volume. It needs only the silence that has already started to spread around him. "I accept." Calloway shields his eyes against the lights, finds the small man standing among the seats, and laughs, not cruelly exactly, but with the easy dismissiveness of someone who has never once in 11 years of professional boxing had his invitation actually accepted. Wait, is that, somebody get this man a robe. We gotta volunteer. The crowd's laughter swells, then catches, then begins to thin as Bruce makes his way down the aisle without hurry. Hands in his pockets, expression unchanged. He is wearing street clothes, dark trousers, a black turtleneck beneath the sport coat. No gloves, no wraps, nothing that says fighter to 400 people who only know fighters from boxing. He climbs through the ropes the way a man climbs over a low fence, economical, unbothered, and now the height difference is visible to everyone in the building. Calloway is 9 inches taller and 85 pounds heavier, a wall of conditioned muscle standing across the canvas from a man who looks, in this light, like he wandered in from a business dinner. The promoter rushes to ringside, alarmed, gesturing for anyone, to talk sense into both of them. Calloway's trainer climbs halfway into the ring before Calloway waves him off with the easy confidence of a man who has never needed protecting. "You sure about this, little man?" Calloway asks, not unkindly now, almost generous. The way a man is generous right before he intends to prove a point at no real cost to himself. "I'll go easy. Just enough to show everybody what's real." "Try," Bruce says. One word. No theater in it. The referee, a boxing official who has never once been asked to officiate anything resembling this, looks to the promoter, who looks at the 400 people already on their feet, and understands there is no version of this night where he stops it now. He settles for the only rule he can enforce. Controlled contact. "We stop on my call." Calloway nods, grinning at his corner. Bruce nods once and says nothing. The bell rings. Calloway does what 11 years and 19 knockouts have taught him to do. He closes distance behind a long, probing jab. Not full power, a measuring shot, the kind a heavyweight throws to find range before the real punches start. It is fast for a man his size. It has hurt smaller men than Bruce Lee. Bruce is not there when it arrives. He has moved his head 4 inches to the left, no more, the minimum the situation requires, and Calloway's jab finds the space where a face used to be. The champion resets, surprised but not alarmed. Everybody gets lucky once, and throws the jab-cross combination that has ended 11 professional fights before the final bell. Bruce slips the jab and rolls beneath the cross in the same motion, a single fluid lean that costs him nothing, and Calloway's fist completes its arc through empty air above Bruce's shoulder. The crowd, which came to laugh, has gone quiet in patches, quiet the way a room goes quiet when it senses it has misjudged something. Calloway feels it too. Not fear, not yet, just the specific infusion of a professional whose tools are not landing. He commits harder, a heavy right hand, the kind that has put grown men on the canvas in Philadelphia gyms, telegraphed by a half-second shift of weight that Bruce reads the way he reads everything, before it has finished beginning. Bruce steps offline, inside the punch's arc rather than away from it, and his open palm meets Calloway's forearm. Not a block, a redirection, just enough pressure at just the right angle to send 85 pounds of extra reach past its target and into nothing. 3 seconds have passed. Calloway has thrown 3 of his best punches. None have landed. He has not been touched either, because Bruce has not yet decided to touch him. "Stand still and fight," Calloway says, the grin gone now, breathing audibly through his nose. "I am fighting," Bruce says. Calloway swings again, wider now, more arm than technique, the shape of a man whose plan has stopped working and has not yet built a second one. Bruce slides inside the punch, and for the first time, moves to attack rather than evade. His lead hand intercepts Calloway's extended wrist at the exact moment the bigger man's weight is fully forward and unrecoverable. It is not a strike. It is a question of geometry. Where's the floor? Where's the center of mass? What happens when the only thing holding 220 pounds upright is removed at precisely the wrong instant? Bruce's leg sweeps low against Calloway's planted foot. 220 pounds of heavyweight goes down. Not dramatically, not with violence, but completely. The way a building goes down when its foundation is taken rather than its walls. Calloway lands on his back on the canvas, more startled than hurt, already trying to push himself up on the same reflexive pride that has carried him through 11 years of never having to learn this lesson. That is 6 seconds. He gets one knee under himself. Bruce is already moving, not to press an advantage, not to finish anything, simply to close the final distance the moment requires. His right hand finds the soft cluster of nerves just beneath Calloway's sternum, the solar plexus, with a contact so brief and so precisely placed that to the 400 people watching from outside the ring, it barely registers as a strike at all. There's no wind-up. There's no sound of impact the way boxing punches sound. There's only Calloway's breath leaving him all at once, his big frame folding forward at the waist, both gloved hands going to his stomach as his body tries and fails to remember how breathing works. That is 8 seconds. Marcus Calloway, 29-2, 19 knockouts. A man 400 people came specifically to watch dominate a stranger, is on both knees in the center of a Las Vegas boxing ring, mouth open, producing no sound, while a man 85 pounds lighter stands a single step away with his hands now empty and still at his sides. The showboat does not make a sound. 400 people who paid for spectacle are receiving something they did not order. And for several long seconds nobody, not the referee, not the promoter pressed against the ropes, not Calloway's own corner men, moves to do anything about it because nobody is certain yet what they are looking at. It takes Calloway nearly 10 full seconds to find air again, his diaphragm releasing slowly, painfully, in shallow stuttering pulls that sound nothing like the easy breathing he walked into the ring with. When he finally manages a full breath, he stays on his knees a moment longer, not from injury, but from the specific kind of stillness that comes when a man's entire understanding of himself has just been rearranged in front of everyone he was trying to impress. Bruce extends his hand. Calloway looks at it. 400 people watch him look at it. Then he takes it and lets the smaller man pull him to his feet, his legs unsteady beneath him in a way 11 years of professional conditioning never prepared him for. "I'm sorry," Calloway says. His voice is hoarse, stripped of the booming confidence it carried into the microphone 20 minutes earlier. I shouldn't have said what I said. About the dancing. About the choreography." He shakes his head, still trying to process the 8 seconds that just happened to him. That wasn't dancing. No, Bruce agrees. His tone carries no triumph in it, no edge. It wasn't. "How?" Calloway says, not really a question, more a word left over from a sentence his mind hasn't finished building. "I'm a professional. 11 years. I've fought men who hit harder than anybody you'll ever meet. And I never saw that coming. Not the sweep, not the..." He touches his own stomach lightly, wincing. "Not that. You were fighting the way you always fight," Bruce says. "Against an opponent who fights the way you expect. I wasn't that opponent. You were never fighting me. You were fighting the idea of me you walked in with." Calloway absorbs this slower than he absorbed the strike. "I called what you do a joke. You called what you didn't understand a joke," Bruce says. "Most people do. It's a comfortable mistake. It only costs something when you say it out loud to the wrong room." The crowd, which spent the first half of the night laughing at Bruce Lee's expense, finds its voice again, not in jeers this time, but in the particular applause that follows genuine astonishment, scattered at first, then full, then standing. It is not applause for a knockdown. It is applause for something the building does not entirely have language for yet, the sight of absolute confidence meeting absolute precision and discovering, in 8 seconds, which one was real. Calloway raises Bruce's hand for the cameras before anyone asks him to. The boxer's gesture, the one reserved for acknowledging an opponent who has genuinely earned it. He does it without being told, and the gesture costs him more than the knockdown did, which is exactly why it matters. The two men talk quietly near the ropes as the ring empties, away from the microphones now, away from the crowd still filing toward the exits, trading the kind of brief, honest words that only happen between people who have just been completely truthful with each other through their bodies, before either one said a word. Marcus Calloway fought 11 more years as a professional. He chased the title shot the writers promised him, fell short twice in close decisions, and retired with a winning record and a reputation as one of the most disciplined heavyweights of his era. A man known on the circuit for a single rule he applied to every reporter, every rival, every loudmouth at every weigh-in for the rest of his career. Never mock what you haven't studied, because somewhere in the room, the man you're mocking might already know exactly what you don't. He never spoke that particular joke about Kung Fu again. Not once. Not in 11 more years of microphones. Not in retirement. Not even decades later, when a sports documentary crew tracked him down in Philadelphia and asked him, on camera, what really happened that night at the Showboat. He was 61 years old by then, heavier, slower, his voice gone gravelly with age, and he told the story the way men tell the stories that actually shaped them, without exaggeration, without performance, the bravado long since worn off the edges of it. I'd beaten 29 professionals, he said. Trained men, dangerous men, and I get in a ring for fun with a guy in street clothes who never once let me touch him, and he ends it in 8 seconds without even hitting me hard. I went home that night, and I didn't sleep. Not because I was scared, because I realized I'd spent 11 years thinking size and power with a whole conversation, and that night I found out there may be a third of it. He paused, the way people do when a memory still costs them something to retrieve. I asked him afterward how a man his size generates that much force without ever looking like he's trying. You know what he told me? He said, "I'm not generating force. I'm removing the things you do that get in your own way." Took me years to understand what that actually meant. 400 witnesses, 8 seconds, one apology that meant more to the man who gave it than any of his 19 knockouts ever did. Because some lessons aren't written in the newspapers the next morning. They're written on the canvas, in real time, in front of everyone who came to watch something they thought they already understood. And they stay written there for the rest of a man's life, long after the cameras have gone home and the ring has been packed up and shipped to the next town.